Making headlines, Minister Ismail Shafiu asked local schools to organize extracurricular activities in a way that does not disrupt the education of its students. Island Aviation Services says that Mahfaru International Airport in December 2024. And Maldives Central Bank new foreign currency law now in effect. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to PSM News in English with me, Hafiz Abdul Sattar. And now the news in detail. Minister of Education Dr. Ismail Shafiu asked local schools to organize extracurricular activities in a way that does not disrupt the education of its students. The minister made these remarks at the forum being held on organizing extracurricular activities in schools across the country.
Speaking at the opening ceremony of two-day school activity calendar forum, Minister Shafiu pointed out that some schools were organizing more activities which is having an adverse impact on learning and education of students. So the minister urged educators to utilize this forum to find a way to conduct extracurricular activities without disrupting the education of the students. He said that students' learning must come first and teachers and students' welfare must be considered. He stressed the importance of making parent community participation hassle-free and considering the geographical dispersion of the Maldives. The minister noted the importance of sports and other physical activities in the education system, but insisted that such activities must not disrupt the primary objective of educating children. The forum being held until Sunday is attended by 92 participants across relevant sectors including teachers, principals, sports supervisors, local councils, civil society organizations and officials from both the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Islamic Affairs.
The Ministry of Higher Education, Labour and Skills Development announces scholarship opportunities offered by Brunei. According to the Ministry, scholarships are open at 5 universities in Brunei. The scholarships are extended under the Brunei Government Scholarship Program with opportunities to seek diplomas, degrees and master's degrees in various fields. The scholarship covers tuition fees, accommodation and medical insurance. The eligibility criteria for the scholarships have been published in the Gazette. The ministry clarified that each student can apply for a single full-time scholarship. The scholarship provider will entirely handle the selection of candidates. The Higher Education Ministry has advised prospective applicants to ensure that both the university offering the programs and the programs they apply for are recognized by the Maldives Qualification Authority, MQA. The deadline for submitting applications is 1 p.m. on 15th February. Ministry of Social and Family Development reveals that the government is aiming to expand the Halukihine program nationwide this year. The initiative, launched in May last year, involves visiting residents across all islands in the Maldives to assess their well-being, identify individuals in need and provide necessary services. Providing the latest updates on the initiative on a programmed ad on PSM News, Deputy Minister of Social and Family Development Naziha Ahmed said ministry officials have visited over 10,000 households in Holumale and 14 different atolls and inquired about the well-being of its residents. She said that it's a great achievement to visit 10,000 households and families in 7 months. According to Naziha, the program has been largely well received by the public, as they can share their concerns and grievances directly with officials of the ministry. Naziha said this year the ministry aims to expand the program to the whole country. In light of the information gathered by visiting families, a seminar will be held with all relevant stakeholders to identify ways to work together, she said. The ministry is working closely with public service institutions, relevant agencies, atoll councils, local island councils and WDCs to conduct the program. The goal is to visit every household in the Maldives within a year to identify individuals requiring special assistance from the state. Individuals requiring immediate help can also contact the Ministry's call center at 1433. The Ministry's teams will continue household visits to provide necessary assistance. The Halukihine program initially began in Holomale, in alignment with President Dr. Mohamed Muiz's vision of fostering a compassionate society. The program aims to strengthen relationships and build trust between the government and the citizens. Minister of State for Homeland Security and Technology, Lubna Mohammad Zahir Hussain, states that detoxification centers will stay open despite the upcoming launch of community rehabilitation treatment for substance use disorders. In an interview with PSM News, Lubna, who also chairs the National Drug Agency (NDA), underscored that these centers play a crucial role by providing medically managed withdrawal services that safely mitigate drug withdrawal symptoms, stabilizing patients and preparing them for continued care.
Drug abuse remains a widespread social issue with far-reaching consequences for the entire community. President Dr. Mohamed Muiz has pledged to tackle substance abuse comprehensively, identifying community rehabilitation treatment as a crucial component in this significant endeavor. This model utilizes community resources, providing an outpatient setting that is accessible and empowering. The NDA has announced its readiness to launch community rehabilitation treatment services. The Ministry of Health has granted all necessary permissions, with State Minister Lubna noting that in the outer island, treatment will be administered with the support of local medical doctors. Treatment for drug abusers typically begins with detoxification, she explained, which is a medically assisted process involving doctors and medication. She elaborated that this medically assisted treatment involves a concerted effort between doctors and the utilizations of medication. She reassured that despite the commencement of community rehabilitation treatment, detoxification centers will remain operational. Currently, these centers utilize methadone, a long-acting opioid, to manage opioid use disorders by reducing withdrawal symptoms and cravings without causing euphoria. For community-based or at-home rehabilitation treatment, doctors will prescribe buprenorphine, a partial opioid agonist, and reduced withdrawal symptoms and cravings, and improve safety in cases of overdose. The State Minister stressed that individuals with substance use disorders will not be forcibly treated, highlighting that treatment will be administered based on an assessment process. This approach aims to enhance treatment programs while expanding opportunities to treat more individuals. She also underscored the critical needs to strengthen psychological support systems to ensure the success of community rehabilitation treatment. The State Minister added that capacity building and training for personnel providing psychological support are actively taking place, with particular focus on civil society organizations offering recovery assistance. She stressed the crucial role of NGOs, non-governmental organizations, in this effort. She noted that the NDA board is currently working on developing financial support mechanism for these NGOs with significant backing from the President. As authorities finalize operations for community rehabilitation treatment, detoxification centers are grappling these space constraints, leading to delays in treatment programs and a growing queue of individuals sentenced to treatment. To address these issues, officials are undertaking a restructuring of centers and their operations to strengthen the treatment system.
Maldives Central Bank, Maldives Monetary Authority MMA, is expecting tourist resorts to exchange around $40 million under the new foreign currency law, Forex law, now in effect. The new law, designed to mitigate the ongoing foreign currency shortage in the Maldives, came into effect on 1st January. The new law, which mandates tourism facilities to exchange a portion of their foreign earnings through local banks, was ratified by President Dr. Mohamed Muiz on December. The law has introduced a framework for businesses operating under Maldivian law to exchange foreign currency obtained from realized sales proceeds. These businesses are required to exchange their foreign currency with the banks operating in Maldives, which in turn must sell a specified percentage of these exchanges to the MMA. Businesses are mandated to register at the MMA and submit regular sales reports on guest. An MMA official, on condition of anonymity, told PSM News that 138 resorts out of the 175 in operation have submitted the required sales report before they begin exchanging foreign currency through local banks on 28th January. Based on the sales reports received thus far, the amount of foreign currency that will be exchanged is estimated to be between $30 to $40 million, the official said. The law aims to establish a clear guidelines for managing foreign currency transactions in the Maldives and regulate currency exchange practices. The legislation mandates that all domestic transactions must be conducted in Maldivian rupiah, prohibiting the use of foreign currencies except under specific circumstances defined by law. It also forbids charging Maldivian nationals for any services provided or acquired within the Maldives in any currency other than the rupiah. Based on their operations and revenue, businesses are categorized into three distinct groups and must exchange foreign currency as follows. Category A, establishments such as resorts, integrated tourist resorts, private island resorts, resort hotels, or any such businesses that falls under the category must exchange either $500 per tourist per month or 20% of their gross monthly sales with banks. Category B, establishments such as tourist hotels, tourist guest houses, and tourist vessels are required to exchange $25 per tourist per month or 20% of their gross monthly sales with banks. Category C, this category includes businesses not falling under Category A or B, but with annual sales or purchase transactions exceeding $15 million in foreign currency. They must exchange 20% of their gross sales with banks. The Act further requires businesses operating in the tourism sector or those exceeding the $15 million thresholds in foreign currency transactions annually to register with the MMA and transfer their realized foreign currency sales proceeds to a local bank. Island Aviation Services says that Mafaro International Airport in Noon Atoll witnessed a remarkable increase in private jet traffic, recording 98 movements in December 2024.
Inaugurated in 2019, Mafaro Airport has operated as an international hub since 1st July 2020. To enhance its capacity, the airport is undergoing an extensive expansion project necessitating the closure of its runway and apron from June to September 2024. Following the completion of its runway expansion work, the airport resumed international operations in October 2024. IASL highlighted the reopening of the airport and the end of 2024 as a period of significant achievements. Since its reopening, the airport has handled the landing of 98 private jets, highlighting its increase in prominence and enhanced capacity to manage higher traffic volumes, according to the operator. Mumtaz Ali, the general manager of IASL, said that the timely completion of runway expansion project ahead of the peak holiday season marked a significant milestone. He credited the airport's success to the dedicated efforts of its staff, who are committed to innovations and delivering exceptional services. He said that the company had introduced new services, including land transportation. According to him, development work on the apron is ongoing and the company is prepared to bring significant achievements to the airport, expanding services for customers. Situated near several high-end tourist resorts in the Nonu, Ra and Ba Atoll, Mafaro Airport accommodates a significant influx of tourists, especially those traveling by private jets. As part of airport's development initiative, the runway was extended to 2,800 meters to accommodate international aircrafts, including the Airbus A320, Boeing 737 and Boeing 777. The ongoing apron expansion contracted to Maldives Transport and Contracting Company Limited, MTCC will increase the airport's parking capacity from 13 to 26 jets. Outfitted with modern facilities to accommodate both domestic and international passengers, Mafaro Airport ensures a high standard of service, thereby enhancing the overall travel experience. Strategically located within the luxury tourism zone, the airport plays a crucial role in access to a range of high-end resorts, solidifying the airport's status as a key travel hub in the region.
The Environment Protection Agency EPA warns against the illegal feeding of rays protected in different parts of the Maldives amid a growing trend of such illegal feedings.
EPA said all ray species in the Maldives are protected under the Protected Species Regulation, which prohibits all action that can harm these creatures. The agency noted that feed-in rays can adversely affect their natural behavioral patterns and habits as backed by research. While viewing the species and diving with these creatures are popular among local and tourists visiting the Maldives, such actions can cause significant danger to humans, including injuries and fatalities, warned EPA. The primary reason for such incidents is the large water to such feed-in sites. While incidents of shark bites and has received complaints from concerned tourists visiting the Maldives regarding feeding rays and sharks requesting to put a stop to such actions. The agency has urged all ray-related activities to be conducted in accordance with the rules and regulation in place, ensuring that all such activities are safe and environmental friendly. Actions will be taken against those who violate the regulations, EPA warned.
Lawmakers from the ruling People's National Congress (PNF) announces their determination to block the no confidence motion against Minister of Homeland Security and Technology Ali Hassan. The announcement was made by the PNC parliamentary group, which commands a supermajority.
Alleging legal violations, the no-confidence motion against Minister Hassan was submitted by the opposition Maldivian Democratic Party (MDP). The motion is supported by the signature of 12 MDP lawmakers, reaffirmed the supports for Minister Hassan, as long as President asserted. Under the leadership of Minister Hassan, the Homeland Security is responsible for overseeing all law enforcement agencies. Guided by the President, Dr. Mohammad Muizzu, Minister Hassan has been addressing issues such as irregular migration and undocumented foreign labor. The ministry, in collaboration with Maldives Immigration, has been actively working to curb illegal immigrations, dismantle illegal businesses operated by migrants, and deport undocumented individuals. Observers have commended President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu's administration for its effectiveness in addressing these challenges. The ministry's collaborative effort with Maldives Immigration and other relevant agencies have been pivotal in tackling issues related to irregular migration and undocumented foreign labor. As the Minister of Homeland Security and Technology, Minister Hassan oversees internal peace, security, and law enforcement, including the police, immigration, and foreign labor. Beyond combating irregular migration, he is also tackling drug trafficking and gang activities. The ministry is also spearheading legislative reform to enhance these efforts, working closely with the Maldives Police Service, MPS. Despite the MDP's no-confidence motion, the party does not hold a sufficient parliamentary majority to pass it. As stipulated in Article 101C of the Constitution, a motion of no confidence against a cabinet member requires a majority of the total parliamentary membership.
U.S. stocks rallies to close out a strong week on optimism over the health of the economy and path of interest rates as investors braced for a slew of policy changes under the incoming Trump administration. The S&P 500 and Dow Industrials registered their biggest weekly percentage gains since early November, and the Nasdaq recorded its best since early December. The Commerce Department reported that U.S. single-family home building rose to a 10-month high, although demand will likely be curbed by rising mortgages rates in an oversupply of new properties.
I think the impetus for stock strength today, and frankly this entire week, has been the strength of the economic data coming in for the U.S., combined with the pretty benign inflation prints we've gotten this week, both producer prices and core CPI, surprise to the downside, which is a good thing for stock investors right now and a good thing for the economy as well. We had retail sales come in pretty strong. We've seen house prices do pretty well this week. Industrial production was an upside surprise. So you put all this, you put all these data points together, and really what it points to is a bit of a continuation of the Goldilocks theme that we saw for much of 2024, which is very solid economic growth, but not so hot that the Fed put, so to speak, is totally off the table in terms of seeing interest rate cuts here in 2025. So that's a pretty good backdrop for stock investing, in my opinion.
A separate report revealed a surge in manufacturing output last month. President-elect Donald Trump will be inaugurated on January 20th, when U.S. markets will close for the Martin Luther King Jr. Day holiday. The S&P 500 gained 59.32 points or 1.00% to end at 5,996.66 points, while the Nasdaq Composite gained 291.91 points or 1.51% to 19,630.20. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 334.7 points or 0.78% to 43,487.83. The head of the UN Palestinian Relief Agency, UNRWA, says that attacks on aid convoys in the Gaza Strip by looters and armed gangs could decline as humanitarian relief floods the area after the truce takes effect between Israel and Hamas. He said UNRWA has 4,000 truckloads of aid, half of which are food and flour, ready to enter the Palestinian enclave. The UN World Food Programme has said it has enough food ready to feed more than 1 million people for 3 months. Throughout the 15-month war, the UN has described its humanitarian operation as opportunistic, facing problems with Israel's military operation, excess restrictions by Israel into and throughout Gaza, and more recently looting by armed gangs.
You might remember the number of discussions about the looting and the breakdown of civil order in Gaza. Part of it was also due to the scarcity of the goods being available. I believe that if we start to flood Gaza with assistance, they will certainly be also that might also mitigate, in fact, this type of tension my colleagues have described more than once. But obviously, we need also an orderly, uninterrupted, unhindered access to the people.
On Wednesday, Israel and Hamas agreed to a ceasefire due to start Sunday and release of hostages taken by the militants during their deadly October 7, 2023 attack on southern Israel, which triggered the current conflict. The accord remains conditional on approval of the full cabinet, which was meeting on Friday afternoon. Talks began in Cairo on Friday to hammer out details of implementing an aid surge into Gaza under the ceasefire deal. Along with security within Gaza, the UN has voiced concern about damage to roads, unexploded ordnance, fuel shortages, and lack of adequate communications equipment. USAID Administrator Samantha Power said on Friday she hoped a surge in aid could create a steady pipeline of humanitarian relief for Gaza. She said USAID has stockpiles ready to send. The deal requires 600 truckloads of aid to be allowed into Gaza every day of the initial 6-week ceasefire, including 50 carrying fuel. Half of the 600 aid trucks would be delivered to Gaza's north, where experts have warned famine is imminent. Paris Saint-Germain announces that Georgian forward Kvaratskhelia has joined the League One club from Serie A side Napoli on a deal until 2029. Neither side disclosed the financial details of the deal, but media reports said the French champions have paid a €70 million fee plus adds-on for the 23-year-old. Kvaratskhelia arrives in the French capital after failing to reach an agreement with Napoli to extend his contract, which was due to run until 2027, with the winger requesting his exit last week. The Georgia international had previously been linked with a move to PSG in the close season before he stayed for another season under new coach Antonio Conte. Kvaratskhelia signed for Napoli in 2022, becoming a Serie A best player that season after helping the club win their first Scudetto in 33 years with 12 goals and 13 assists in 34 games. He has scored 5 goals with 3 assists in 19 matches across all competitions in the first half of this season. The Italian Ministry of Culture says that a large bath complex within a private house attached to a banquet hall emerged in the excavation site at Pompeii. The complex, consisting of a calidarium, a tepidarium and a frigidarium, hot, warm and cold room, and an apoditarium, a dressing room, could accommodate about 30 people who could do the same things that were done in the public baths. Gabriel, the director of Pompeii Archaeological Park, said, being therefore among the largest and most articulated private baths known so far within the archaeological site of Pompeii. Pompeii, 23 kilometers southeast of Naples, was home to about 13,000 people when it was buried under ash, pumice, pebbles, and dust in the volcanic eruption of Mount Vesuvius in the year 79 AD, one of the deadliest in the history. And that's all we have for this hour. Thank you for watching. Wish you all a very pleasant time ahead.
and the resumption of commercial activity.
هفتار نمیگن دایر دنیای که